Today we're going to set up a Pro700 task controller in an aim flex sprayer. This is for units with software after version 31.31. When we hit the back button, you'll notice you have a wizard button. If we go through the wizard, on a new unit, what we'll normally do is a full setup, which goes through all the setups rather than hunting through the toolbox menus. This puts it all in a logical order. So if we hit full setup, it walks us through with instructions. We hit next. It asks us if we want to use GPS, so that would be yes. Asks us if we intend to use section control, yes. Do we intend to use prescriptions for product rate control? Yes or no, that would be your preference. In this example, I'm going to leave it set to yes. Asks us to set up our operator name. Most of our sprayers will have Young's in. When we set them up, you can change that to your own name if you want, or you can leave it alone, and the units that we're using. Now, most of us we're spraying in US gallons per acre, so US is what we run. Asks us to set up the crop type for the field that we're going into. This example shows canola. Then it asks us to set up our grower, farm, and field. So we have our grower set as Young's, farm as Young's, and if I want to select a new field, I can either type in a new name or I can go in and select from a list. So I'm going to select the home quarter. It's asking for GPS location, 4440, CAN A. It says MFD tractor type, but that's what it needs to know for steering. Don't get worried about that on a sprayer, that is correct. GPS location, it's pulling the information. We can't change that, it's pulling it from the defaults. Our offsets. The one measurement we could check if we want is the height of our antenna from the ground. That'll help the roll calculation be more accurate. It shows that we have GPS. This unit's running on RTX center point. We could change the correction type if we want. I'm going to leave this one alone. DGPS alarm should always be set to yes, so if we lose our corrections that we get an alarm. It'll show our implement width, swath width, implement overlap, and we want our TC map layer to run off of product 1 actual rate. If we're running WAS and we want to run a little bit of overlap, this is where we can adjust our swath width. We could take this down to 119 feet and run 1 foot overlap. These are offsets coming in from the controllers. We could adjust them if we need to, shouldn't have to. Section on time, off time, product delays. We're not going to adjust these in this screen. We're just going to scroll by them. We're using a liquid controller. Now this is where we can select the product name and the usage. So most people will run water and use water for all their product names, but if you want, you could actually go in and create a new product, and you could set up Roundup, 2,4-D, etc. just for data keeping. To operate, we can run on water and leave it there all year. Usage, we can also, for data keeping, we can select fertilizer, fungicide, herbicide, insecticide, pesticide, whatever we want to do. Next, default application rate. This is where we're going to set what rate is going to be our default. Whenever we turn the key on, this monitor is going to set it to this rate. So if we leave this at 5 when we get into our 10-gallon stuff, if we shut the key off, turn the key back on, it's always going to start at 5 unless we adjust our rate automatically. We want to make sure our min and max is wide enough apart that we can do any rate changes we're doing in the field. Delta app rate is going to set the step every time we hit the increase, decrease, what it's going to change. Additional products, no, we're only applying one product with a sprayer. Air seeders would have multiple tanks, so we could set up multiple products. Work condition, we've named it spray. It's locked in there. Layer 1 should be product 1 actual rate on a sprayer. And here's our product again, set up as water. If we had other ones set up, we could also change it here as well. Overlap control. If we are 99% covering, it'll shut off the overlap. Percent out of bounds. I normally like these set up a little bit higher, probably 10%, so that if we go 10% outside of a recorded boundary, it'll shut the section or the nozzles off. Start early, stop late distance. This is what needs to be set up. These are probably reasonable numbers, but everyone will have to adjust it themselves to make sure that they don't have skips or misses in the field or any overlaps. It's up to the operator to set those. Once we're done there, we hit run. It takes us back into our main screen. The unit is completely set up on the task controller side of it and ready to spray.